Howdy folks, I'm Rebecca Jolly, the Jolly Alchemist, here today with a neutrino forecast for Friday, the 19th of September, 2025. So we have switched here from the right angle of Eden and through the juxtaposition cross of conflict and into the left angle cross of the plane, third quarter, second variation. So we have been through the plane once this year before, but that's when I was tracking the transits by myself. So this is the first time we're covering the plane together. So what is the cross of the plane? The cross of the plane is really about being aware of what it's like to be here on this material plane, to have a body, to be in life, to be doing the things, to be busy, and to remind us that doing these things is what we're here for. So we have some interesting names that show up that carry this particular version of this cross, and they are Sophia Loren, Upton Sinclair, Bill Murray, Stephen King, Mama Cass Elliot, Leonard Cohen, and George R.R. Martin. So for our actual numbers here, the sun's activation today that is our mission for today is 6 line 5. 64 Keys calls it mediation. Ra called it arbitration, but it's about restraint in order to avoid conflict. Ra goes to some length to explain how it's about the hunter being captured by the game. It's about well, we're in the fifth line here. So all fifth lines as part of the left angle, as part of the transpersonal, we've gotten to the top of the house and we're looking outward into the world. That fifth line is what the world wants to see as the highest expression. So by the time you get to the fifth line, that person is carrying an energy that's aware of conflict on all the levels. And it's like, okay, we're people. We have conflicts. We're here to be people and have an actual physical life. These are the people that are aware of how heavy it is, how difficult it is, and that most of the time it's best to try to avoid conflicts. And that's where that mediation or arbitration comes in. These people have enough experiences, and they've had the experiences in sort of a damn the consequences kind of a way, that now they are wise enough to go, okay, well, let's try to work together and get around that, because that's really what's going to be the best thing for us. The Earth is at 36 line 5, that is the underground, and that is about surviving regardless of conditions. Now, when it comes to 36, we've looked at both sides of, was it line 2 that was causing conflicts for others but not really affected by them, and then line 3 causes a conflict and others are not really affected but they take it in the neck. And then 4 was secret knowledge as a protection against that crisis, or against that crisis in the first place. And then now we have line 5, which is about, it doesn't matter if they're the generator of the crisis or the conflict, or whether they're the survivor. Either way, they're going to get through it. They're going to be fine. And that's really, I guess, the ultimate expression of that hexagram, is to think that no matter what the crisis is, you're going to get through it. Or you're going to die and come back and be able to give it another shot. So it's in some ways a validation of the thought that it's not that big of a deal. It's not that bad. You can survive. The crises that you have in your life, you're meant to have. And part of what's going on in this cross of the plane, of course, now we do have 15 and 10 underneath. So 15 is the love of all humanity in its wild flexibility, and 10 the gate of behavior, treading of the self, being who you really are. Part of what that's about, Ross says, is when you figure out who you are and you start to be who you are, you can figure out that you're going to have the materials that you need on this plane to do what you're meant to do. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be rich if you go through deconditioning, but you're going to have enough. You don't have to worry anymore about how am I going to survive, because you will be able to survive just by being you. It's there. We have enough resources on this planet for all of us if we're actually starting to do what we're meant to be here to do. So the imbalance is only caused by people living in the not self, doing what they're not supposed to be doing, being somebody that they're not, thinking that the game is all about how many ones and zeros you can end up with, when clearly that's not it. So it's interesting. The moon starts off today in 29, line 3. 29, of course, is our gate of commitment, and as a part of this channel of discovery, we understand that by committing to things in life, committing to experiences, jumping in and allowing them to take over us, we have the ability to access luck in order to be able to discover something for ourselves. And that channel will, of course, be active today for everyone and for the next, 46 and 29. Today's the last day of that, because today 29 will hit line 6 and shift into the next line, which is 59. I believe that's how that goes. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, for just a little bit more, today we will have this channel defined for everyone, which will, of course, be giving everyone on the planet both G definition, so some idea of what it is to have love and direction, and also that powerful motor of the sacral energy. So, when the moon is done with 29, it will move through 59. That's our sexual roll gate here. And this channel will also be connected today because we're in line 6 in the sun. So for the rest of this cycle, which is today and tomorrow, we will have this channel defined, which means that, oh, wait a second, no, because 59 is just the moon going through, so it's just a period of today. But then we'll have 59 showing up again in Venus. Really, let me double check this. Yeah, it's true. We'll have 59 showing up again in Venus, and that will attract it again. That makes it happen twice. Interesting. I hadn't noticed that. Okay, so this is going to be ongoing then into tomorrow as well, this connection. And what that gives us is the channel of the uniter. This is also the channel that Ra says must be completed in one way or another for fertilization to happen. So if you're trying to make a baby, the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, are good days to be fucking. And if you're not trying to have a baby, today and tomorrow are good days to avoid fucking. So, note to self. There's that. All right, when the moon is done with 59, it will move into 40. We just recently went through gate 40, coming here out of the ego center and moving towards the emotional center. So you're looking at an emotional or an ego kind of a gate. This is the will to provide, to bring resources into the community. It's one of the gates of aloneness. I'm going to go out, struggle, bring in resources, give them to you, and you better treat me nice if I do that. So that's our energy for the moon today. That's our first people energy, energies that come to us more through other people than something that we're actually going to feel ourselves in our bodies. The second one is Mercury, starting off in 46.4. That is influential, exerting influence through luck and purposefulness. Then we'll move into 46.5 in Mercury, keeping pace in lockstep with success, and into even 46 line 6, integrity, to reject restrictions. And of course, this is also meaning to not make promises that you can't keep. And I think that's very interesting because I carry this line in my Pluto, I believe, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It's my Pluto activation, one of them. And I've always, when I was raising my kids, emphasized with them, do not make promises you can't keep unless you are 1,000% sure that that's going to be. Don't even try. Don't even make a promise. And I didn't make promises to them. And the very few times that I did, they knew that was a solid thing. Whereas oftentimes we see people who have defined willpower centers making promises and then the keeping of them, not so muchly. Of course, I trained my daughter very carefully about that one tiny piece of it, but I have a pretty good friend who's an ego-defined projector, and she makes promises to me all the time. And now I know I can't count on those. Those people with a defined ego are here to prove that they can keep their promises, which means until they've matured enough to know that that's what they're supposed to be doing here, these are the ones that are around spewing promises. Oh, I promise I'll be back tonight, honey. You don't know if a car's going to strike you or you're going to fall into a ditch or anything. Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay. That's where that comes from in me. And that's really what we get when we start to study our design. We'll see a little piece here and there and go, oh, so that's why I was always that way. Or that's why my mother was always that way. That's why my brother was always doing that shit. It was part of his design. Gotcha. Well, Venus is at 29.6 today. This is, of course, again, our gate of commitment. Shall we do it or shall we not? Line 6 is blind luck, a leap in the dark. So committing to something without really knowing what you're committing to, but it's able to connect, almost even without being aware of it, to that luck that's happening in the 46 gate. And then, of course, after that, in the course of the day, that 29.6 will shift to the next gate, which is 59, line 1, conquest. So we're moving into exploring that 59th gate. This is our sexual role gate. And the line 1, this is the one I carry, is conquest, or Ra calls it preemptive strike. The vitality to tear down walls. Ra, of course, in this case, talks about the caveman, cavewoman energy. This is somebody who wants somebody, they're going to go get them, grab them by their hair. And I thought, oh, okay, I can kind of see that, I guess. When I want somebody, I really am very just like, you, I like you. How about you? You want me? It hasn't ended well, usually, but I can see that energy in me. Mars is at 50, line 2. That's determination to maintain one's values with strength. 50, of course, is our gate of values here coming out of the spleen. This is the beginning of that splenic wave or splenic center, and it is the beginning of human intelligence. Let's see. We do have a shift on the global scene because 53, line 6, our gate of beginnings, has shifted all the way up to 62, where now we were all about beginnings contrasting with the endings in Pluto. Now we're having get down to the details. What's going to be happening? It's time for detail work. Routine, the routine of detail work. So it's a bit of a buckling down kind of energy. Let's buckle down and look at the details. What is it going to take to move us forward, to have us heal in the now, so that we can value the things that are old and cherish and welcome the things that are coming in. The whole world is needing some attention to detail. So look at that in the news and see if you can see that shift in energy that's going on globally. Are there more facts and figures being offered? What's happening because of this attention to detail happening there? Our song for today is One by U2, and I thought that definitely expressed trying to avoid conflict, recognizing conflict, but not wanting to really engage with it, and being able to survive in spite of whatever conflict and crisis are out there. So, not my favorite song, kind of draggy, but when it came up and I looked at the lyrics, I thought, boy, that really does it. Okay, so one by you too. Have a listen. And tomorrow we will come back for the sixth line and the last day of looking at this left angle cross of the plane. So, see you tomorrow. Until then, ciao.